Greetings, YouTube. I'm part of the half of the fan base that seems to have liked The Last Jedi. Um, I also enjoyed The Force Awakens. I don't think either of them are the best Star Wars movies ever made, and of this collection of recent Star Wars movies, I still think Rogue One is the best. Um, but I still enjoyed both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. It was nice seeing some old characters. I enjoy the universe it's set in, so world building, and there were no midi-chlorians. Um, and the worst part of those two films, of course, was Whiny Wren. We really didn't need that character the way that character is being presented to us. I don't blame Adam Driver for that. He's probably doing the best he can with an absolute crap character. But we just don't need that character, and it's the worst part of both films. And in fact, when I saw the trailer for The Last Jedi, I'm like, hey, cool, new Star Wars movie. And they showed the scenes with him in it, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to be there, isn't he? So yeah, I don't like him. But there was one thing about The Last Jedi that I thought was very cool, but fundamentally changed the entire Star Wars universe. And it's probably never going to be addressed in a move that'll make it very similar to Star Trek. And that's the ability to use a starship, any starship, as a weapon of mass destruction. So, spoiler alert, there's a starship used as a weapon of mass destruction in The Last Jedi. A general puts a starship into overdrive and fires itself at a big-ass ship and essentially cuts it in half. Cool move, visually stunning. It actually had a little bit of emotional impact in there, which was nice because there was absolutely no emotional impact whatsoever in The Force Awakens. And it fit the scenes well, okay? Awesome. That means they could have done that anytime they wanted. Now, the ship used in this case was pretty good sized. It was a carrier of some variety. It was a pretty good sized ship. And the ship it hit was very big. Not quite Death Star big, but still very, very large. And so the energy was enough to cut the ship in half, but not destroy it outright. Okay, fine. But if you can just take a ship, put it into hyperdrive, aim it at something, and then destroy that something, why haven't they done that all the time? Who needs a Death Star when you just slap an engine on an asteroid and fire it at a planet? No more planet! Heck, a ship the size of the Millennium Falcon would crack the mantle. It would devastate an entire region of a continent. It would punch a hole in the ground the size of Manhattan. That would be devastating. Now, I admit there are times when you don't want to destroy the planet you're attempting to get resources from, which is another argument which I've had before, which is stupid, but we'll ignore that right now. Interstellar War makes no sense. But since this is just a replay of like World War II, well, yeah, we're just going to go with it. But the reality is, if any ship can do this, anything that can do hyperdrive, even an X-Wing, is a lethal weapon to large vessels or planets. You don't need big, huge armadas for dogfighting. You can't hit a ship moving in hyperdrive with any functional weapons. It's just gone, which means it becomes a missile which can't be stopped. And you don't need to put people on board. You just put computers on board. So no sacrifice. You can make 1 billion of these things for the cost of one of those Death Stars. And they built 2 of those friggin' things for no apparent reason. And then the Order builds a gun big enough to, like, require a planet to sit on. Again, you just want to show the world how big your penis is? There's no point behind those weapons. There's no point behind most of the militaries on either side. And talk about terrorist weapons when any ship can be turned into a weapon of mass destruction. How do you stop that? You don't. And when any derelict or decommissioned military vessel now becomes a huge frigging missile, there's no way to defend from that. It's a world where you have mutually assured destruction everywhere. It would completely change the political structure of the Star Wars universe. But nope, not addressed at all. Now, the one thing that bugs me about this the most is I didn't think of it first. That bugs me. I should have thought of this way before the Last Jedi came out, and I didn't. I am disappointed in myself. Because I have an evil mind like that. I should have thought of it. Heck, I thought about what happened on 9/11 20 years before it happened. And I didn't think of anything in the Star Wars universe but turning a ship into a missile. Just disappointed in myself. Now let's talk about this. Do you think this fundamentally changes the entire tactics used in Star Wars? And of course, it will be utterly ignored in the following films. We know this. Again, it's a Star Trek-ism. Come up with a great idea, use it once, never address it again. They do this a lot. It's annoying. It's not how technology works. You come up with one idea, before you know it, that idea is everywhere. That's how technology functions. Look at carbon fiber. It's everywhere now. At one time, it was obscure, didn't exist. But now it's every place. So, let's talk about Star Wars and the tactics used in The Last Jedi that have changed everything and will probably never be used again, but I still think we could get a decent video out of this.